Hey guys, I'm Alicia if you're new here, and welcome to today's video. I am super pumped about it. I am planting out my new Vego raised garden bed, and I'm gonna run like a long-term experiment here that I'm hoping you'll join me for. If you've been here, you know that I have been kind of deciding about my current raised beds. I have about a quarter of my garden in raised beds and 3/4-ish in the ground. And my raised beds that we put in, we did it over 2 separate years, like 4 and 5 years ago, are falling apart like really bad. And they weren't bad wood, they weren't put together wrong, it's just life out here. So one of the reasons my wood beds fall apart is because there's 2 big things that are making them fall apart so fast that just make me decide I just can't do wood here. Rhizomous grasses grow into them and root into them. They're everywhere here in East Tennessee, and they grow up through the bottom no matter what I put down there, and then they actually root into the sides of the wood, and I have to like pull it off of the wood. When I pull the weeds, it'll be stuck, like the roots are growing into it. The other thing is ants. This bed doesn't actually have any ants in it right now, but a lot of them, I have like 5 different types of ants here on this property, and what a lot of them will do is build using my dirt up to the side on both sides, and then they will use that as part of it as well. And these are not termites, these are ants, and there will be little ant tunnels through the wood, along the wood. It destroys things. So every now and then I come across a cute garden bed, I'm like, maybe I could replace it with that, and I just think it's just probably not going to work long-term overall, and I really want that time to work on other stuff, not continually rebuilding my beds. And so I've been deciding what I want to do with them, if I want to just replace them, if I want to try a different style. While I still haven't decided what I'm going to do overall for all my raised beds, I did want to try out these new metal beds. This is from Vego, and one of the things that drew me to this was that it has an average of a 20-year lifespan, and I would really like to not have to replace my raised beds every 4 to 5 years. That's a lot of money and it's a lot of time. I'm still expanding the homestead here. I don't want to spend all my time rebuilding the infrastructure. So the raised beds really drew me. I got it in this pretty, I think it's pretty, like dark gray color. I feel like it kind of will just blend in when it's the off season and it'll look nice. But I have seen some cool garden pictures when I was looking at metal raised beds, where some people, I mean, if they have their entire garden in raised beds and it's all matching, it looks nice and manicured. But I also saw a fun one where somebody did like a rainbow. They, have a couple blue, a couple green, they were sprinkled around, and I thought that was really cute. I'm gonna start with this. I'm not so artsy, I like the kind of plain look, but I'm gonna start with this one. And let me go over what I'm planting today so that you know what I'm putting in the ground while we talk about what makes me so excited about this. I'll give you a hint, it's not just the metal raised bed. So this is an experiment, and I am trying a couple different things based on what I could get my hands on this time of year and growing time. So I have broccoli here. Broccoli takes a little bit longer to grow, and it's mid-October right now, so I'm not sure that it has enough time to grow and grow ahead, but I'm gonna put some in here and see if I can get it. And I need to remember to take one of these out for each, and I'm gonna plant these over in this other dilapidated wooden bed, so that I have kind of a control group here. I'm putting spinach in. One of these just broke, so one short. But spinach is a little bit more frost hardy than lettuce for me, and so I wanted to do something that was kind of a middle range. So spinach is probably the closest thing to lettuce that I have been able to grow here. That's gonna go around the middle. And then this, let me go over here. This is butter crunch lettuce, which makes a head, and I love butter crunch. I also like iceberg. I know a lot of people hate on iceberg, but I like it. So I'll be putting those in, and I will be mulching over this before I close it up for the day. Like I said, these were just from a local-ish garden center. I don't have a really local one. This one's about 40 minutes away, but they usually have good starts. So while I get these in the ground, let me tell you about why this is possibly a total game changer for me. So I had been looking at these metal beds and I hadn't been certain. And when Vego offered to send me this one, I was like, you know what, go ahead. Let's pull the trigger on this, because not only do I want to test it, but what really attracted me to this was the frost system that I will get back to in a minute. What I really want to tell you though, I'm super proud, is I put this together myself. I am not at all a handy person, at all. I cannot stress, at all. And it probably took me longer than it would take, well, I know it took me longer than it would take my husband. Probably took me longer than it would take anybody. But it came with clear directions, and the only tool you needed was with it. It's all hand stuff. I didn't have to learn how to use a drill or something. And in addition to that, I put the whole entire thing together myself. And that just made me so proud. I feel like I could probably still do that when I'm a little bit older than I am right now. Because I'm starting to think about those things on the homestead, you know, as I age, are things gonna be easy enough for me to maintain? And this was so easy to set up that I was able to do the whole thing myself. Building the bed, building the frame system here, getting the cover on. It was amazingly easy. Okay, so let me tell you why I'm super duper excited about this. It is this frost system you see me underneath right now. It's actually like a greenhouse frost system combo. And I will get you some closer shots of what this stuff is made of. And by the way, this is an add-on. If you already have a Vego bed, which I know some of you do, because when I've talked about raised beds in past videos, some of you have suggested Vego beds. If you already have one, you can order this as an add-on. Just make sure you're ordering the one that fits the configuration of the bed you've chosen. This specific bed is a 17-inch 9-in-1, and I have it in the configuration of 3.5 feet wide and 6.5 feet long. And I just chose that because it is the closest fit to what I currently have in my raised beds. And so I'm thinking about how I'm gonna have to rearrange my raised beds if I replace them all with a metal bed like this. But here is why I am so excited about this bed. I'm really giddy, actually. The more I put it together, like, I saw things that I wasn't expecting, and it just made me that much giddier. And I'm trying to be only cautiously optimistic because I pretty much gave up on growing fall and winter vegetables here in East Tennessee for a couple reasons. One, our fall weather is not a gentle cool down. And our spring weather is not a gentle warm up like a lot of people, not everyone gets, but a lot of people. And so it can be cool enough for something one day, like for lettuce to grow, but then the next day it's 80 degrees. And never underestimate how fast a plant will bolt when it's too hot. And so I end up with lettuces that are too bitter, and everything that bolts and doesn't give me a head. It starts to form a head and then it flowers, and it's just disheartening when you spend a lot of time and money planting things and having this vision of what you're going to have in the fall, and then it doesn't work out for you, and it's beyond your control. And so I kind of started planting just a little bit of fall crops, and so that I'm not wasting so much, and then just being like, if it works, it's a bonus this year. If it doesn't, it's not. And I want to say, out of the last, let's see, I plant lettuce every spring and fall, and I've probably gotten 4 seasons, not both, but like 4 times that I've gotten a few heads of lettuce. Like it's really hard. So that drastic temperature change, that up and down stuff, it really wreaks havoc on vegetables in general. It just makes it hard to actually grow something and get a product. And so I kind of given up on it because the only other way to kind of circumvent that issue, and I tried it and it just did not work out great for me, is to plant stuff later so that you know you're past it being hot enough to make things bolt, but having some system in place to where things will still grow, that it's not too cold and like get frost. So one year, my first year growing, I discovered the crazy fall and that it wouldn't work. So the second year, I decided to try growing it later and using a frost cover. And I got one on Amazon that worked for another YouTuber. One of those, it's most frost covers. They're like a half circle wire frame, and then you put this white cloth over it. And I don't know if you've ever looked at those cloths up close, but they are kind of thin. Some of them are thicker than others. This one wasn't bad compared to other frost covers, but it didn't work here. Let me just say that. So the first year that well, the only year I tried, I gave up. I put the row covers on, and I have, you know, there was like the round things, the cover goes over the top, they clip on, and then I'm in Rocky Top, lots of rocks that I dig up that I put along the edge, like big heavy rocks, to help make sure it was weighed down. And a couple days later, we got a storm, like tons of wind. We get a lot of wind, and we get hail here. And the wind tore off part of the cover, and where it had been under the rocks or against the clips, there were holes in it. And so I kind of cut that part off, because it was like the back half, like maybe like a 25-foot row. I don't remember how long that cover was, but it was on one end. And so I took that end and kind of cut it, recovered what was left, thinking maybe it'll make it through. And a couple days later, we had another storm with hail, and there was just, hail had ripped. We get hail here. We don't get little BB hails. We get like golf ball, sometimes softball size. And the hail ripped holes in it and in my plants underneath, and it was not salvageable. And so I kind of felt very defeated. Like, I have moved here hoping to have this big garden, grow so much food, including all the seasons, maybe not winter because that's really drastic, but you know, extend more than just the summer. And I just felt like I had a big loss. And so I got really excited when I saw this, because this is a totally different story. Besides, so for wind, this is in solid. If you have an existing bed and you get the kit, you just pop out the top screws of your bed and these screw straight. I mean, this is into the bed itself. It's not sitting on top. It's in the bed. And all the places around it is Velcroed on. It fits perfectly snug. When I put this on myself, which I thought I had on camera and I didn't, my camera was full. But when I put it on, I thought that was the one time I was going to need someone to help me put it together, because you know, it's like a big cover. You're putting a top of something. I'm only 5'2". This is not, it's right about my height, a little bit shorter. But I thought it would be hard, but it fits so well that it kind of just floated over, and I didn't have to do that much adjusting, and it went on, and it fits nice and snug, which would help by itself. But then there's tons of points around where you have Velcro attaching it to the poles. And then under the very bottom, you have, I don't know if you can see it, these straps that you can loop around under the poles and secure it even more tightly. So that was, when I was putting it together, and I just saw it was so much more secure than I thought it would be. It fits well on its own. And then I saw some other features I'll get to as well. So I'm having some cautious optimism again, in that this cover might actually work. It is supposed to stand up to wind and hail. That's what it says on the website. And so I can't wait to find out. I can easily tell it'll stand up to far more than what I had before, because it's just this thick stuff with the grid running in the middle that just adds extra strength. And it's really, if this doesn't work, nothing really will, I guess, is my point. So what I'm trying to find out here while I'm doing this is a grand experiment. I'm hoping that you'll join me for this in future videos, because this is going to be something with updates for a while. I am trying to see exactly how much can I extend the season. Not only will it work against the wind and the hail and the weather, but how much can I extend my season here? Which is why I wanted to plant one of each out there, so that I have something to compare it to. I will probably make little updates in my week of the life. I know I don't do my week of the life videos every week, but when I do, like, you know, random chores around the homestead type videos, I'll probably sprinkle in a few things here and there. But I will be out checking this frequently, like after first frost, after first freeze, all the things. And in a few months, I will make a whole nother video with like the progression over time and how everything did. Guys, if I could have lettuce at any time during the winter, homegrown lettuce, I would be so excited. This could be a serious game changer and make me so happy. So one of the features that I came across when I was putting this on that I wasn't expecting but absolutely loved was, first of all, besides this good quality plastic, these are good zippers that are on here. And these are not like your cheapo zippers. This is as stout as this is. And normally with greenhouse type things, you have to roll up and tie your sides. But in this one, I tell you, this thing is built so well. I've never considered using the word quality with plastic products, but I totally am with this, because the frame of this was so easy to put together, like snap in place PVC, but it fit just right. Have you ever put something together like plastic shelves or something? You have to pound things in place. This was perfect. It was snapped together easy. It was not too loose, but not too tight. These have Velcro on them that are strategically placed against up here, which makes it really easy to just kind of put it up, and it lands almost in the exact right spot. So it's easy to do that yourself. The amount of little Velcro holders inside is keeping this on, but here's another thing that I was like, oh, that's even more secure. On every side down here at the bottom are these little Velcro tabs with a thing, so you can tighten it up even more. It's really loose right now because I have the sides open, but you can tighten it up even more and just snug it around the bottom, which is really cool. And here is something that I always keeps me from buying those little greenhouse kits and stuff, is the whole, hi Henry, the chickens are talking. The whole idea of you need some crosswind or the greenhouses will get too hot. And a lot of times the ones I can afford at least don't have that built in. And I didn't even notice when I ordered this that this has on both ends, it has a little cross freeze window. So I can totally open this up. And this, I think this is how I'm gonna do it until we're getting closer to our first frost. I mean, date-wise, we're past our first frost, which is never when we get it. It's not on the horizon right now. So for now, to keep pests and stuff out, I'm gonna keep the sides down and I'm gonna keep the cross breeze thing open, but it's super cool. And I was excited to see that because I wasn't expecting it, as well as the whole buckled down thing to just snug this down over the top, which will help keep critters out of it. I'm just trying to, you can see the height compared, like putting this on. I love that it was tall when I saw it in the picture, because that means that I can grow taller things, including in the spring. We like to grow peas, and I have a battle with rabbits here, and they always eat the baby pea shoots. And I think out of every fall and spring I've planted them, I think maybe 3 times I've gotten sugar snap peas for some reason. Those ones will survive more than the regular peas. But I have a pea trellis like this tall that I could put in here in the spring and plant some peas. And with this snug around the bottom, I bet a rabbit would not be able to get to it, and I could have peas. I'm so excited about that. So excited. I'm also super excited about lettuce. If I could get lettuce, y'all, it's like a game changer. If you have been along for my pantry challenges in January and February, you know that one of the things I regularly spend my tiny pantry challenge budget on is fresh lettuce, because I like salad. But if I could even grow some, even if it's not January and February, if I could grow some and cut down on my lettuce bill and have it organic homegrown lettuce, I'd be so excited. So here's my experiment that I'm hoping you'll join me for. I want to answer 2 questions. Number 1, how does this actually hold up to the weather? When I ordered it, I was thinking 50-50, maybe it would work. I'm talking heavy wind, hail. We're actually supposed to get a storm this weekend, which is good because it's been a long, dry, hot fall here, and it's wrecked things. But so I will get a chance in a couple of days to see. It's supposed to be a very windy one. We'll see how that holds up. Number 2, and this is the bigger one, exactly how long does it extend my season? Because that is one of the reasons people get frost covers or little greenhouses, is to extend their growing season. And I just want to know how much. Like, is it going to extend it by a couple weeks, a month, 2 months? I want to know what's going on. So that's why I'm going to be making regular checkups out here, and that's also why I planted one of each things in that other raised bed, if you could still call it a raised bed, that's falling apart. That is right next to this, and I did that on purpose so that it'd be the closest comparison. It's in the same spot. This will block some wind, because our wind usually comes this way. Block some of the wind from that, but it shouldn't affect frost. So I'll get to see if that is, or compare dates, like when did the frost or freeze ruin that? Because another thing here is that we don't always get a light frost for our first frost. Sometimes we will get a heavy frost or even a freeze for our first thing. One year, it was like 70 degrees one day, and that night dropped to 25. That's a hard freeze. We never got a first frost, we got a first freeze. So I'm curious to know just exactly what this will do for me. And that is what I'll be doing update videos on. Like, how is it holding up to the weather, to the storms, to all the stuff? How are the plants inside comparing to the plants outside? I'm kind of tempted to plant some carrot seeds too, just to see. They don't really have time to grow, but I'm kind of curious. I don't know. I might also plant some kale, like start some new kale seed inside, because I couldn't find red kale in the store. We'll see. We'll see. I might add to this, but we'll see. For now, I want the lettuce, the spinach, and the broccoli, because I wanted the like short, medium, long grow length just to see. I'm not sure that this will handle long enough to get a whole broccoli head, but we'll find out. It's my middle daughter's favorite vegetable, so we'll find out. One of the things I was taking note of as I set the bed up was I just wanted to see how easy it was. I know already that this is taller, which makes it easier to get in and out of than a row cover that you have to unclip, unrock, and it's short to the ground. I can stand or kneel and get into this, and that's a nice feature, which makes it easy. I'm thinking forward in life. I'm middle-aged, and I'm like, how can I make life easier on myself and stay on the homestead and still grow as much of my food as possible as it gets harder for me? And so just this was so easy to set up. I could do this. It wasn't very heavy. It wasn't light, but it wasn't heavy. I could carry it easily. I didn't have to have anybody else do it. And it was, like I said, surprisingly easy to set up. I am so not handy. I cannot express to you how unhandy I am. The height makes it easier to harvest. And so I'm thinking this might be the key as I age to making gardening easy enough that I can still do it. Because I honestly, my dream would be to do it till I die. It's probably not realistic, but I would totally do that. But the ease of getting in and out of here, the ease of setting it up, the ease of planting it, super cool. And I'm thinking in the summer, I can take this off and maybe trellis a thing or two on the frame. Maybe I could do that with the peas, or I could put something else like green beans that need a trellis. That would be cool. Not sure I'm going to do that. That's just what I'm thinking right now. It just seems like this is quite possibly the answer to a problem I've been having, which I moved here with this dream of not just gardening in the summer, but almost year round. And I haven't been able to do it, which is frustrating and disappointing. And this might be the answer of making it easier on me. And I'm excited to find out. I hope that you join me in finding that out too. Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can get those updates if you want to see how this journey goes. So I will see you along the way. I will see you at the end of it when I make my final video. And of course, I have a coupon code and affiliate link in the description box below if you're interested in getting one of these, or getting the cover system if you already have one and you want to add that to it. And then hopefully that would make your life easier as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you join me in future videos to see exactly how this goes. And I'll see you guys in those future videos.